Day three of the Wear Your Skin challenge. But anyway, if I'm a little too fast, that means I've been working already this morning and I haven't eaten. So I'm gonna hurry up and try to get to some food. But before I do, this is very important to share with you. So I will shake and see which verse we're talking about today. And I'm just gonna put it up there like that. So you can see Timothy, Second Timothy 2:24, and this is at the end of the Bible of the New Testament. So of course, I've been talking all day, so my voice is almost about to go away anyway. But let me talk louder. This is in the New Testament, so I like this. I like all the chapters in the New Testament more than the Old Testament. Um, but it's Second Timothy 2:24, and let's see what it says. And the reason I like the Old Testament because it gives you good wisdom and so much knowledge in it. And it shows the softer, nicer, more merciful side of God. Second Timothy 2:24. Okay, we're at it. I'm gonna read the whole thing, then I'm gonna read the specific verse, which is the title of this is A Worker Who Pleases God. Keep on telling everyone these truths, and warn them before God not to argue about words. Such arguments don't help anyone, and they ruin those who listen to them. Do your best to be the kind of person God will accept and give yourself to Him. Be a worker who has no reason to be ashamed of his work, one who applies the true teaching in the right way. Stay away from people who talk about useless things that are not from God. That kind of talk will lead a more person that kind of talk will lead a person more and more against God. Their evil teaching will spread like a sickness inside the body. Hymenaeus and Phygelus are men like that. They have left the true teaching. They say that the day when people will be raised from death has already come and gone, and they are destroying the faith of some people. But God's strong foundation never moves, and these words are written on it. The Lord knows those who belong to Him. Also, these words are written there. Everyone who says they believe in the Lord must stop doing wrong. In a large house, there are things made of gold and silver, but there are also things made of wood and clay. Some of these are used for special purposes. The Lord wants to use you for special purposes. So make yourself clean from all evil. Then you will be holy, and the Master can use you. You will be ready for any good work. Stay away from the evil things a young person like you typically wants to do. Do your best to live right and to have faith, love, and peace together with others who trust in the Lord with pure hearts. Stay away from foolish and stupid arguments. You know that these arguments grow into bigger arguments. As a servant of the Lord, you must not argue. You must be kind to everyone. You must be a good teacher, and you must be patient. You must gently teach those who don't agree with you. Maybe God will let them change their hearts so that they can accept the truth. The devil has trapped them and now makes them do what he wants. But maybe they can wake up to see what is happening and free themselves from the devil's trap. Oh, that's a good message if there ever was one. It hit all the good basics that we as people, any human being, whether Christian or whatever, that we need to know in order to live the best life possible. It's telling me just do good. In summary, love, do good. Simple as that. And it's also telling you to stay away from people who are doing the opposite of those things because you don't want to be influenced by that. And don't argue, don't quarrel, all these other things because you're trying to be a good influence to the other person as well. And maybe God will let them change their hearts so that they can accept the truth. The devil has trapped them and now makes them do what he wants, but maybe they can wake up and see what is happening and free themselves from the devil's trap. And that's the point of Christianity, to go around spreading the message so everybody can get the word and realize that you don't have to live the negative life that you have. You can have peace, joy, happiness, etc., etc., all the good things that come along with God. God created this world. He wants good things to happen in the world, and that's why He created it the way He did, and that's why He laid out these rules in His Bible so that we can know that we have a better way to live life other than the way that we've been taught or grown up to believe into. So, with all that said, that's God just still sharing his word, saying, you know what, I'm here. I just want you to turn to me. I'm just here to do good. If you're, let me go back, flip back to what we said, stay away from people who talk about useless things that are not from God. That kind of talk will lead a person more and more against God. And he's saying that anybody who is telling truth and living a godly way, God will accept them. And do your best to be the kind of person God will accept and give yourself to Him. Be a worker who has no reason to be ashamed of His word, teaching in the right way. That's the whole thing. Just choose good instead of evil. That's the whole point. At the end of the day, that's the whole decision. So let me see what else. Let me go to the specific verse, which was as a servant of the Lord, you must not argue. Must you must be kind to everyone. You must be a good teacher, and you must be patient. Now, as humans, we are all, especially in America, we have become an impatient nation. I mean, we get the fast food, everything's fast. If you want anything, you just open your phone real quick, order it, or whatever you want, you just get it real fast. Lots of people don't like to wait. It's a blessing to learn patience within yourself or practice patience because it has great benefits. It's a thing and a trait of godly people, someone who has patience with someone who can, what's the word, who can endure whatever they're going through and be patient and know that God's going to bring them out on the other side of it. It basically says don't argue. Now that can be a hard thing, especially if you're dealing with an argumentative kind of person. You might want to come back, but in the best of your spirit, in the best of what you know about God, just use all that godly wisdom to maintain yourself, to humble yourself basically, and realize, you know what, the argument is not really between you and that person. Sometimes if you're representing good, if you're on the godly good side, sometimes that argument is an argument of spirit. And especially if you realize, you look around and say, what the heck's going on? What are we even arguing about? You can realize that, sometimes your spirits are at combat. It's not actually the people. Sometimes our argument will arise because one spirit is in the presence of another spirit, and they're combating against each other. And one spirit is thriving within someone, and they're just hating for no reason. Everybody knows this phrase where you get hated for no reason. It seems impossible. Like why would somebody have hate against you or whatever, and you can't figure it out? Well, usually that's the spirits combating against each other. If you're someone who's positive, if you're bringing light into the world more than darkness, and you notice that the other person is bringing more darkness with their gossip or their whatever they're doing, they're not in any kind of way representing God. No matter if they go to church or whatever, they're still the same person who spreads rumors, gossip, lies, backbites, or whatever, destroys another person with their lips or with their actions. They're a destroyer. So that's the spirit of them. That's their actions coming out from their spirit. You are who you are based on your spirit. Your spirit is the alive one inside. So what if you have a good spirit, you're gonna do good things. If you have a bad spirit, you're gonna be more on the negative, bad side. God puts it in this way. You can tell the type of spirit by what he does, or you can tell a fruit, or you can tell a tree by its fruit. So just like you can tell what kind of fruit something is, you don't know until actually it grows up. But you see the plant growing out of the ground, and when it finally grows up, you see that it has apples on it. And before you thought it was bananas. At the end of the day, someone will tell you who they are and what they're about by how they treat someone. And like I say, usually you cannot find that out within the span of a day or a month or weeks, or sometimes it takes a couple of years. Just sit back and relax. The key indicators are how are they treating other people? How do they treat the homeless? How do they treat somebody who's lower than them? Do they walk around all cocky and arrogant? Are they humble? Do they always have some gossip to talk about? These are the traits to be aware of, to realize that you might not be dealing with somebody who has the best morals or intentions for your life, and you might want to try to back away or do more research before you try to sign up, especially in a relationship, partnership of any kind. But anyway, as I was saying, that's the summary of it. As a servant of the Lord, you must not argue. It might be difficult, but just try to avoid it as much as possible. You must be kind to everyone. that might be difficult too because there are lots of bad attitudes. As a child, you walk around in this mystical land where you just everything is good because you're taken care of and your parents pay your bills and everything. And you're just having full of joy if you're in a good household or whatever, where there's no drama or whatever. But when you grow up, then everyone's eyes open to the real world where you see that a lot of people have bad tendencies, bad intentions, and it's not the world you thought it was when you were young. So with your eyes open to the new world that you're in as an adult, you're looking around like, oh, and suddenly your mood starts to adjust. Don't do that. Don't let the world adjust your mood. You stay who you are as you are. Or if you find yourself being adjusted, guess what? You can come back to that childlike mindset and state where everything is good and glad and you can treat everybody happily and it's like you're living in wonder world or whatever because you can use God's word to combat all the evil that's going around in the midst of you. So use God's word, God's word to come back to how you used to be and realize that it can be a positive place. It's just how you view it. Forget how someone treats you. Forget what the moods are in the world. Just do you and be the best person you can. And as it says, be kind to everybody. The next thing says, you must be a good teacher. If you whatever you are, if you haven't even become a Christian yet, whatever you teach, make sure it's of the positive. Make sure it's of the beneficials of life, not just to serve yourself. Um, just to put out good information, something with some, you don't have to be a Christian to know the basic principles of humanity. Treat everyone nice, have respect for others, do what's right, turn away from wrong. The same principles of God are the same principles of a decent human being. You don't have to have a label Christian on you just to know what's right and what's wrong. As an adult, especially, once you're an adult, you know what's right and what's wrong. But if you choose to do more wrong, that's on you. And the other one says, you must gently teach those who don't agree with you. Is that part of 24? No, that's after. The last one says, and you must be patient. And I already addressed that one. This is a fast food kind of world. We want everything quick, fast, or else we don't want to have nothing to do with it. But patience is a virtue, and that's what God says. Be patient in everything. What's going on in the world? As far as there is the hot topic in where is it, Charleston, where the everybody's in an uproar because this goes back to you can look at some of my old videos talking about the uproar in the world right now is about Black Lives Matter. That's the general consensus of the speech or the message. Black Lives Matter is because more and more these days, since we have video cameras, people can catch, you know, people of one race getting done wrong, especially by people in authority like police departments, etc. So more and more, every time you look around, there's somebody new in the news who is being, hurt or harmed or killed by policemen when he should be given decent treatment. And the statistics are keeping up, they keep stacking up and it keeps growing. It doesn't seem like anyone's really doing anything about it. People are mad here, people are mad there, it's angry, you have protests in the streets. It's a whole uproar. People want this to stop. But I already, as I said in the past, some solutions, what my solution is just have someone go in like the mole or whatever, like regular investigations, have someone write in the police department, find out who's the racist one by just, spreading that racist message around. And whoever it is, who's hopping on board with the racist message, then find out who they are and take them out of there. But it doesn't always have to be racist. Sometimes people get overloaded with power. And we also don't just see people of another race treating Black lives wrong. We also see sometimes even Black lives treating lives wrong. Just like Black lives treat Black lives wrong in sets or clips or hoods or traps or wherever you want to say. Sometimes the police badge comes with abuse of power. And whether you're of any race, sometimes you get hyped up on that power and think you're better than the next person and you run the world and you treat them like crap. Whether they're black or wherever, white or whatever race they happen to be. So it is a racial tension in America. America's known to go to other countries and reach out when there's distress everywhere else, but countries now get a chance to look at us and get to say, hey, let's call in the UN and say, hey, there's a problem going on in America where black lives and people are being killed by the police department. Let's do something about this. So it's another notch on America where other countries can't wait to step their foot in and try to take the upper lead because, of course, everyone in the world pretty much considers America, the top country or whatever. And if you're the president of America, then you're almost like a world leader because we always go and intervene in other countries, etc. But anyway, this stuff's gonna go on. It's sometimes people like to, there's motives behind other things. Everybody can go on with motives all day and say, this is all happening for distraction, so we can't pay attention to what's the thing called stage home and all this other stuff. I mean, it's just so much that goes on all the time. But at the end of the day, all this stuff is it's just life. You go through life. There's good times, bad times, war times, peace times. It's just life. These same rituals will continue to the end of time until the end of days. It never stops. It's always going to be a problem. If it seems calm for a moment, just give it a little bit of spark back up. Something's going to happen. That's just life. Change is inevitable. All you can do is smile and treat the next person nicely. But anyway, I was getting to the point where what was I saying? Charleston. Yeah. And what's that? Indiana? I could look real quick. But wherever it's at, Black Lives Matter, the movement right now, everybody's concerned because guess what? It seems like you can't even be a black person going to a church these days because you get killed there too. So in your own hoods, you get killed, on the street with police, you get killed, and now in the church, you get killed. So this is what happened just 2 days ago, 1 or 2 days ago. Someone goes in the church, they're sitting there looking like a praise worshiper. It's supposed to be a historically black church, founded by African American leaders or whatnot. And the preacher there is even like some kind of senator, I think. And it turns out they're actually on a case. Okay, so much information. Let me put it out plainly. The preacher of this church, historically founded black church, he happens to be a senator, I think, and he is representing or praying for a family who has just been affected by the Black Lives movement where they were killed by a police officer or something like that. So the preacher is representing that person, I guess, going to pray for the family and whatnot. And it turns out that there's, quote unquote black church because if your church has to be classified by a race, then that's no church of Jesus Christ. But we say black church because of the members who are there, but because church is for everybody. But anyway, this quote unquote black church, this Caucasian man comes in. He looks like he's a worshiper, and he's sitting in the midst of everyone praying and praising. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of it, he hops up and says, "You know what? You people are raping and getting out of control, something like that. And it's got to stop. So I have to do this." He starts shooting everybody. 9 people die. And that is just a sad scenario because, in the sense of things, it's true. I mean, everywhere you look, all you see is black being killed, black being killed, and there's no solution from it because people are running on the roots of racism. And people, if you sat down a racist, I'm sure they probably don't even know why they're racist. I mean, are you really racist because of skin? Nobody picked to come into the world a certain color. And really, in America, everybody's of multiple races. I mean, if you go back in everyone's history, like what's the man's name who was embarrassed about his history? Ben Affleck, I think it was. In the news, they sometimes on Channel 8, PBS, I'll say, because I'm in Houston, everybody doesn't know Channel 8. But PBS always has like a historical program like what is it called, Ancestry.com or something like that, where they take a famous person, they run back their history and say, okay, your person was a king and queen, etc., etc. And you might be so proud of it, but his history was run back and he was a slave owner. And he was embarrassed about that. He doesn't have to be embarrassed. That's not him. Nobody in the black community is going to say, oh, yeah, well, I can't say nobody because you know what? There are races inside every population. And sometimes in my own race, people in my own race like to hurry up and hop on something. Oh, that person, they did this, they did that. In their history, they had slave owners. Um, that person is not a slave owner themselves. That was their history. We don't know anything about this person. Ask again who he is today. We don't. So then shouldn't be embarrassed about his history. Embrace it. Say, you know what? I don't condone what they did back then, but I'm no racist to this day, and I could care less what they did. I'm here helping the population today, whether it's whatever it is. So pretty much, you know, people are just sometimes racist because their parents are racist or whatever. I one time talked to this man and we were just having a good conversation. He was white, he was like homeless or something. But and he tells me his parents, his dad was in the KKK Ku Klux Klan, the racist group. And he was sitting there calmly talking to me, no racism in sight with him at all. No part of him since I wouldn't even think his dad was in KKK. But people need to come to the fact where stop bringing. This is such a touchy situation. It's hard to tell someone what to stop doing in the first place. But pretty much, if we could all, here's the summary of it. I'll just make it simple. Listen to what God says. Then that way you'll have a love for everybody. It doesn't matter what race they are. That's the point of God's word. We're missing this. We're missing everything. We have a big Bible. It's full of good information. It's full of good wisdom from God, straight from God. But we choose to ignore it. And in the sense of ignoring it, at the same time, we are bringing self-destruction to our own communities because we're missing out on all this information. If nobody, imagine I'm a parent, newborn parent, I have a child. So I never cracked open my Bible and I teach only, and nobody in my life has cracked open a Bible. And I'm only teaching my child what I know. I know how to survive. I know how to get up and take care of my physical being, how to eat, etc. If these are the things passed down in generations, how can anybody respect the good things that we're supposed to know about too? The Bible is there to show you about the good things that you're supposed to be doing in the world, like giving back, taking care of others, loving, not gossiping, sharing, caring. In a general sense, just love. That's the general gist of the whole thing, love. So if we're missing out on all this information and we don't see love represented anywhere, be honest. I mean, we all would like to say, yeah, this is a great love world or whatever it is. You can really easily say that if you're maybe in the rich communities or whatever. But most of us are middle class, lower class, or even sometimes upper class where we're dealing with attitudes on a daily basis and we have to um, move around in a world where people are, for example, in traffic, you're driving in traffic and you're hitting your horn and you're shaking your fist at the next person, you're throwing up your middle finger and over a car because they cut you off is really just the sense of the matter. Or like today, if you're talking on the phone to someone, it's just so surprising. I experienced this myself. If you're talking on the phone and you're just barely introducing yourself, I mean, no problem caused at all. I can understand if someone who just chopped off your neck or something, but you just start cursing and going crazy all of a sudden. And, I mean, where does this anger come from? It's an angry world out there, and we're all piled on with all this anger and rage, and we just let it fly at the next person that comes next to us. And sometimes we have a real deal, authentic reason to be angry, but at the same time, we have to learn there's better ways to deal with it. I mean, as much as humanly possible. It's not good to just make the other person in the world feel awful just because you feel awful within yourself. That's not the way to do it. Whether you do it by cursing somebody out, something obscene with your fingers, throwing your middle finger up, gossiping about them, spreading bad rumors, whatever. Whatever your own troubles are, deal with those. Don't try to go and tear someone else down just so you can feel good. Oh yeah, I got that person. I feel so great. I can walk around with my head up. No, it's not great to treat anybody terribly. But anyway, I got so many subjects on this. I shouldn't even open the can of what's going on today with Lives Matter, but someone must speak on it, so why not me? But the whole thing is that if a whole country would actually get into the sense of knowing what God wants for their lives, knowing that there is a true God, knowing that He created the world, just look in yourself. Think, if there is no God, then obviously um, Why don't you create a person? I'm not talking about being birthed. I'm talking about you create your own world with universes, and you set the balance in the world and the trigonometry and all the mathematics that go along with balancing out the planets and the gravity on Earth. Gravity on Earth, it keeps you grounded to the ground, and then when you go out of the ground, out of the atmosphere of Earth, then you're pretty much floating, no gravity. You balance all that stuff out in your own, and then I'll call you God. But until then, someone has to be behind all this knowledge, where everything is balanced, where everything goes together, where there's seasons and there's flowers in bloom and all this beauty that you can look and get such a sense within yourself by just looking at something beautiful like a flower or a picture or whatever. All these things work together for the glory of God, and it's all working together for His good. And only someone who's an imbecile will think that there is no God, because there's no way all this stuff could be interacting with each other and all these miraculous things happening without a God. So if you come to the conclusion there is a God, then you have to figure out, okay, there is a God. I do admit I can't make all this stuff myself, so there must be some higher power. So how do you find out about him? You read the Bible. When you read the Bible, you have to have it come to it with the openness, saying that, oh God, I'm not the one who runs anything. So whatever you want to show me in this Bible, whether I deem it negative or not, I'm going to go ahead and respect you for whatever you've done. Like I say many times, some people can't respect, or they lose interest in knowing about God because they're reading in the Old Testament and they haven't read the whole thing through, because at the end it shows you the whole picture of why all this is going on. But in the Old Testament it gets uninteresting, or not uninteresting, it gets you into the mood where many people have the attitude like, if this is God, why does He let this stuff happen? And it might be a negative attitude where you're like, oh, I don't want to read anymore because I can't stand a God like this. But it's not for us to judge God. We are judged by God because we're His creation. He has that authority, just like a judge at a courthouse can judge us. They have that authority just because they went to school and got a degree. I can be a judge too if I went to school and got a degree. And I could tell you, you could go not to hell, but you can go to jail. That would be my sentence, and it would be about the same thing if your whole life would be living in a jail cell. But if you give that power to just a human, imagine how much power God deserves, or God has and deserves respect for. So even like if I was a judge and I sent your family member to jail, you'd hate me. You'd say, I don't like that judge, but I have the authority to do it, and he did the crime, so he does the time pretty much. But anyway, I'm on some more stuff. Back to the main subject, which was this. Do all those great things that I read, and that I'm getting very hungry. I'm losing my pulse because I haven't eaten yet. But going back to my Bible verse of today, the whole summary of it is love. That's God's whole summary, love. That's what He wants to see in His world. And He gets so people wonder why. Why isn't God here? Why isn't He doing anything? I take this from Andrew Womack yesterday, which I already know, but I was listening to his program. He's saying that, was it Andrew Womack or maybe somebody else? I think it was him. People are saying, why don't you intervene, God? But if God actually came down and intervened, would you like the decisions He made on your life? So that's why He's a God of free will. He lets you run the world as you want to, but you choose this day who you'll serve. Because if you choose God, definitely He's got your back. He's standing there. Even if you don't choose Him, He has your back too, but He wants you to turn to Him and give Him the respect He will. And sometimes He might choose to just back off you. You just completely say no. It's like if you're in a relationship. I always like to compare things to a relationship thing, and I'm running out of energy as I speak. But you can imagine it. If you're trying to spread love to one person all day long, nothing but love, 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 and that person just showing you hate, eventually I'm saying, look, I cannot do this anymore. What I'm going to do is back up off you, and I'm going to let you live your life how you want to, and you let your consequences be your consequences. Same way with God. Everything is easy to see how God is, how God works. You want to find out about God? Look in your current situations and wonder, how would you react if if you were treating somebody good and they treated you bad? Would you always stick around? You'd be there in a sense. You'd love them from a distance, but they wouldn't be getting all the benefits from you that you want to give them. So that's the whole thing. God's thing is love, and that's what we should all do in this world. Um, as far as Black Lives Matter, just go ahead and do your best, and go ahead and just realize that racism is alive, and realize that some people will always be racist, but that's their problems within themselves. If you're a racist, think to yourself, what do I have against the other race? If I look back far enough, I could probably find out that person might kinfolk some kind of way, because especially now, after we find out after slavery has gone away, we know that races were mixing and all that when the slave owners had the slaves and all this other stuff. I mean, babies were popping out light skin when the mother and the parents were dark skinned, and that's the trait of being from Africa. And the babies are popping out in a different race, and others said, oh, and that's another thing. Oh, well, I just want to sit here. Soon I'm going to turn to bones because I'm starving. But this is important. I'm on so many topics, and I don't want to slip away, and I don't want to save it till tomorrow. So I'm only on 31 minutes. Let me talk about 5 more minutes. In the news, also, there's a woman who's been found out that she's been living a life, and she's black. I mean, she's white instead of black, but she's been, curling her hair to make her look like she's black and getting like a tan, so her skin color's like mine or whatever. So she can appear like she's black. Now, the only thing bad about that would be if she's trying to use that just so she could be the leader of the NAACP. It's found out that, like, if I just went ahead and put on, look like, what's that show? Uh, Twins. What's the Damon Wayans? What's those brothers? The Wayans brothers. You know what I'm talking about? White girls. That movie, White Girls. If I did my skin and everything like white girls and went in for a job application, and I just try to present myself like I was white, just so I could get the head leadership at KKK or something, some place that's all white only pretty much, or promoting white things, then that's wrong for me to do. I'm impersonating just for the money. So just find out that this woman who's at the NAACP, which she's resigning already, if she only did that just so she could be there for the money, then that's a bad thing. But if she can get a tan, she can look how she wants. If she feels like that she's more represents or more in touch with the black community, let her be who she wants to be. I mean, we're all of one race. Like she said something about she's of the human race. That's a good thing. So what? Nobody cares. Live how you want to. Nobody really cares how you want to live. But if you're trying to deceive somebody and get some free money or get the highest paid money just trying to be black, then that's where the deception goes a little too far. But if you want to be black, white, whatever you think you want to be, whatever, it's not about that. It's about your spirit. Who are you inside? Forget the outside. Nobody cares what race. I don't care. I can't say nobody cares, because lots of people care. They choose you on jobs because of your race. They choose you on whatever because of your race. Sometimes to your benefit, sometimes not. But whoever you want to be, look how you want to. It doesn't matter. That's not important. What people need to do is start looking inside. If you're somebody who's used to just looking on the outside of somebody to determine whether they're a good person or whether you want to hang out with them or make them a best friend or husband and wife, start changing your ways, because that's not what's going to make you happy in the end of the day. I saw a post today, and it is the truth, because it's telling you that they said that in the post, they said what did it say? So they said, I'm not concerned these days about the beauty of someone outside. I'm concerned about what kind of spirit they have inside. And that's the best way to put it. Because you don't know what you're getting. It's like opening, what is it, Forrest Gump? Life is like a box of chocolate. You don't know what you're going to get. So while you have this chocolate, you're like, ooh, yes, Hershey's, I love you. But if you're not peeling back the label just a little bit to check the expiration date, you might be eating a chocolate bar from 1955, and that's not good. Have you ever had old chocolate? That's not good at all. You want to make sure you pull back that label and make sure on the other side it says made June 20th, 19, not 19, but 2015. You want to make sure it's not from 1900 or anything like that. You want to make sure you check inside, because just because the outside looks great does not mean anything. Okay, so I keep wanting to get back and say a final word about Black Lives Matter, but I always go to something else. So let me just hurry up. What do I want to say about Black Lives Matter? Don't be racist. If you find yourself, this is how you know if you're racist. Would you do the same thing for one person of color as you would do for the next person of color? If you wouldn't, you have some racism issues. Don't worry, you can correct it. How? You can read the Bible. It'll fill you into more information about someone's spirit and let you judge them in that way instead of judging them upon how they look. Just like Martin Luther King said, hopefully one day will come where we judge a person by their character and their content instead of their color. So yeah, that's one way you can change yourself. Don't worry, there's hope for you, help for you. You don't have to be an angry person. You don't have to have a life full of hate. Why are you hating? Be happy. You only have one life to live. And at the end of the life, do you really want to say, you know what? You're on your deathbed. Usually on the deathbed, that's where everybody regrets everything. So you're on your deathbed and you say, oh, you're flashing back over all your life. You got 5, 10 minutes to live because they say I'm about to take you out the IV, but you're still conscious and you're there and you know you're about to die and you look around and say, on the healthy days of my life, I lived like I was a sick man or woman because I had a sickness in my mind where all I did was hate the next person. Races, all this other stuff, privilege stuff. We're all beautiful on the outside. It's what's on the inside that gets ugly. And if you're feeling yourself ugly because you've been treated a certain way, then yes, you may have a right to be treated like that. Like, oh, will it ever end? I keep talking. Like in the past, when that boy's during Black Lives Matter, when that boy's parent got killed as a police officer, because some crazies sometimes try to retaliate, and they went out and they were just shooting at any police officer. And this police officer, he was, I don't know, his race was, one of them was Vietnamese or maybe Asian, some kind of Asian, and the other one was Caucasian, I think. I forgot. But, or maybe Hispanic, I don't know. I forgot by now. But the whole point is, this this boy's parent dies. He wasn't even, a Caucasian police or anything like that. Who the Black Lives, some of the people in the Black Lives Matter movement are against. They're more focused on, oh, Caucasian is treating the black people wrong. Let's be mad at Caucasians. But he has now had to live a life where here comes Father's Day. What, Father's Day this Sunday? Tomorrow? Now he has to live a life where he doesn't have his dad. And you don't think tomorrow when he wakes up and he doesn't have his dad, he's gonna have a hate for that black person who killed his dad for no reason just because he was a police officer sitting at a diner eating or wherever he was or in his car. He was in his car. Yeah, so he himself, if he unless somebody's talking to him working that out, he's probably growing up right now with such a hate for the opposite race that he might one day become a racist who affects the life of somebody black or somebody against his race or of another color against not his color. So he has a reason, but he can be intervened. Somebody can come in his life, just like the people are doing right now. Those people in the church who had their family members killed just recently, 2 days ago, they're standing up and showing a great example for the world and saying, you know what? In the name of Jesus Christ, we forgive you. Already we forgive you. It hasn't been even much time passed by. People sometimes have to go through a healing. I know this for myself. Sometimes forgiving is hard. I've sometimes forgiven right on the spot. Sometimes I needed a few months for things that are more drastic. And this is a drastic thing where somebody comes and just starts sniping out your family and 9 people die in that church. So they're living a good example where even though they have been done wrong, they use the words from God's Bible. Aha, Eureka, there it is. Only God's word can do something like this. You think if somebody's family got killed, they'd have the compassion within themselves to not rage and go on violent protests and say, I want justice for this, or be against that man's family, or want to get some kind of revenge, or go kill somebody. Or you don't think that those people will want, you know, you don't think they will want revenge in some kind of way? Of course they would. But the only reason that is stopping them, the only thing that's intervening in this is because they have the true word of God. and they know the true word of God. Now, they could also have been church people who are just now getting there and don't know the word of God yet, and stepping up and say, I don't forgive them. What are you talking about? They killed my mom. They killed my dad. I don't forgive them at all. They have that option because they're newborns in the Christian faith, and they have some things to work on themselves. But for the ones who are standing up and saying, you know what, in the name of Jesus Christ, those are authentic, real deal, seasoned Christians who know God's word, who have read God's word, who you can see, you can tell. Nobody really is going to be in a church in the middle of the week. I don't even go on Sundays myself. But for somebody to get up in the middle of the week and go to church, that's somebody who has a faith for God. When it happened like on Wednesday, Thursday, they have a faith for God. So you already know those are real believers that are sitting in there because they're in the middle of their week giving their time to God. Somebody who gives their time to God on other days besides Sunday, you don't have to be in the church house. Not like I'm saying that. Because me, I'm all about God and I don't go to church. Although I would like to in the future, but I don't go at this moment. But they're in the middle of the week in the church house. So of course you're working with real deal believers. And of course they're gonna forgive you because that's what God's all about. God says, you know what? Forgive. And the daily prayer that I'm about to say is the same thing. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who have sinned against us. And this is good. I have too much to say. I might come back on Black Lives Matter later. But right now I just gotta go eat something before I pass out. But I will end on the daily prayer and the good prayer. I say this because I'm going to start saying this more because it's the most basic, most relevant prayer there is. And I guess that's why Jesus taught it. Because it involves everything that you need for your day. And I pray that you have a blessed day after I say it. So, our Father who art in heaven, holy is your name. Your kingdom will come. Your will be done on this earth and everywhere else. Give us this day our daily bread. Please give me my daily bread. 'Cause I'm starving. Thank you for whatever's in the fridge and whatever I'm gonna eat. Thank you. And forgive us our debts as we forgive those who have debts against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For it's yours is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. In Jesus' name, thank you for everything, God. Thank you, listeners. Comment if you wish. Amen.